Teddy. The world doesn't even know how talented Teddy is. Teddy is a damn genius. He plays drums. He plays guitar. He plays bass. He plays keyboards. Like I play all that now because of Teddy. That's what influenced me. He could play anything, anything. He was literally a one-man band. Like I've seen him. He's the only person I've seen do this. He can actually. He used to have like 3 and 4 keyboards and a drum machine, and he would play everything at the same time and be a one-man band. You know what I mean? Like looking back, I wish he would have done that for kids at work. You know what I mean? He was literally a one-man band.
You remember crossing paths with New Edition back in those early days?
Oh yeah. They were friends of ours. They were friends of ours. They were our friends. I'm telling you, man, I'm very impressed with New Edition. You know why I'm so impressed with New Edition? Because when we met them, see, you got to realize you could be a nobody in one town and be a complete superstar in another town.
Yeah.
Especially in those days, you know what I mean? Because that's before social media. So in New York, we were popular. In Boston, we were superstars.
Wow.
Out your name. Yeah, I've been watching the show for a while, man. You got a great show.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm sure you heard from Timmy and some of the other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the interviews, man. Yeah, I really especially love the El DeBarge interview.
Yeah, he's sometimes I pinch myself that actually because I started the year always thinking I would love to interview him just because of his personality and his stuff
Yeah.
and when it finally happened, just matching his temperament so he felt comfortable speaking and sharing and being able to talk about stuff that he probably hasn't really been able to share elsewhere. Yes. Okay. But I mean, it's definitely good to be able to get you on that. And I think I did a little introduction before you came in just to say that most of us who sort of would always start New Jack Swing and Guy would always know that, okay, there was before Guy, there was Kids at Work and you were the lead singer and then, Gene Griffin and everything. But then as I said recently when I did interview Jackie McGee, she said, yeah, Clurel's there. He introduced me to Ted and stuff. And it was almost like, oh, okay. So you were in the mix. But then, of course, people wonder what happened. But we're not just for one, we know we're about the whole career and the whole package. So we want to start off by asking where you were sort of born and raised.
Well, I was born in New York City. I was born in Harlem, but I grew up in Midtown Manhattan in New York City. And, I guess the first person I met was Timmy.
But okay,
Timmy was like, I guess.
No, but growing up, you mentioned. I mean, growing up in that area, what was it? I mean, as a kid, what did you get into? Were you singing in church or school, or how did you get into?
No, I was. I was just singing in the house. I was painfully shy. Okay. Painfully shy. Like I honestly, if I can be honest, the most reason why I'm not a big famous pop star is because I was so shy as a kid. You know what I mean? I was just so shy, like painfully shy. Wow. You know what I mean? And only reason why I even got with Timmy and Teddy and them is because Timmy heard me humming or singing to myself in the street or something like that. And he walked up to me and asked me, do I sing?
Oh, did you know him?
I didn't know him, no.
Wow.
He just walked in. That was our first conversation. He said, yo, you a singer? I said, yeah. He said, do you know how to do any Jackson 5 steps? I said, yeah. I said I could learn, but on the inside, I knew them all. That's my greatest inspiration. You know what I mean? And then he asked me that I wanted to audition for his group. You know what I mean? So I went to his house and auditioned for his group. I used to roller skate. I used to roller skate to his house.
Wow.
I never had money for bus fare or anything like that. So I would roller skate to his house as a kid. and I auditioned. I sang "I Do Love You" by GQ, and I sang "I Found That Girl" by Jermaine Jackson. That's what I auditioned. And I did well because the record was playing. You know what I mean? But then when it came time to the rehearsals, I was just so shocked. You know, he was the lead singer when we first got together.
Wow.
Yeah, Timmy was the lead singer. Timmy was the songwriter, the lead singer, the leader. You know what I mean? He organized everything. He got everything together. I mean, he was the man. You know what I mean? He was the man. And if I, you know, I don't know how in depth you want me to get to in the beginning, but if I
you can. Yeah, this is an open show. Take your time.
But you know, I mean, I guess in those days when I first met Timmy, you know, he introduced me to Teddy, but Teddy wasn't really in the group. Teddy, he was in the group before me, but at the time when I met him, he wasn't in the group. He was in this other group. You know what I mean? And you know, eventually he came back to the group. You know what I mean? And you know, and then everything's like, you know, it's sped from there. Like in those days, it was me, Timmy, Teddy, Larry, which was Timmy's brother, Gary, which was his other brother, another man named Larry that was a bass player, Greg, that was the guitar player, Pete, that was the drummer. I mean, Swire, which was another singer, and a couple of girls that was in the group, you know, because you know, it was always different girls in the group. So it was like a whole host of people in the group. And one day, I don't know why, but the manager we had at the time, his name was Ron Thomas. He's like a dad to me. He took me, Timmy, and Teddy on a trip to Kentucky. And me, Timmy, and Teddy was walking in the street. We were just walking in the street down there in Kentucky. And Teddy turned to me and Timmy and said, "This is the group right here."
Wow.
And that's how it ended up being just the three of us. He was like, "This is the group right here." You know what I mean? And it's not like we left the other guys. It's just that we were the most serious and consistent.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we just stuck it out. You know what I mean? And you know, that's what happened. And so we went to the studio and we recorded two songs that Timmy had written called one was called Togetherness, and the other song was called She's My Baby, which ended up being on the Kids at Work album. And we recorded the demo in like a half an hour, maybe a half an hour to an hour, because we were so rehearsed. We brought in the band, they played the music, we sang it, knocked it out. 3 weeks later, we got a deal.
How old were you when you met Timmy?
Huh?
How old were you when you met Timmy?
I mean, we were all around the same age, you know, teenagers, you know what I mean? All around teenagers. 13, 14, 15, I don't know, you know what I mean? So long ago. Okay. You know what I mean?
Okay.
We were all kids, and I don't know, you know, the years so long ago. I get, you know.
Yeah.
I forget ages because I don't really deal with ages because I'm too
Yeah. But then did you ever think that this could be serious, or was it just like a hobby?
Oh yeah. It was dead serious for us, for me and all of us. We were like I'm telling you, I was shy, but in the inside, I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm doing this forever. You know what I mean? And Timmy and Teddy was the same. Like I remember Teddy saying to me one day, Teddy said to me, he was like, "I know I'm gonna make it."
Wow.
And you see what he did. And you can see the look in his eye. He was 2,000% sure he was going to make it. You know what I mean? Because it was Teddy's connection that got us the deal. Teddy knew Gene. Teddy knew Gene, and he gave Gene our tape. And you know, it was just timing because New Edition was hot at the time.
Yeah.
And that's how we sounded. We sounded like New Edition. So that was the hot thing. You know, everything is timing. You know what I mean? Because it's so funny when you think about it. Because Aaron, in a sense, took my place. You know, we had broken up, and then Aaron took my place. But it's so funny to think. I think about it a lot because Aaron's sound was so different from my sound And because the sound was so different from my sound that when Guy became hot, that was what the labels were looking for, that sound. Because, after Guy, then it was Jodeci and Aaron Hall and all these people. And because I didn't have that sound, I got lost in the sauce. I couldn't really get back. You know what I mean? I couldn't really get back unless I chose to sing that way, which I just didn't, because I could sing that way, but I just wouldn't do it.
So, but during those days, what was your sound like then? What were you, were you like
I mean, just
Ralph?
Michael Jackson, Ralph Tripp. The thing about me, man, I and still to this day have the ability. I can sing in a Michael Jackson, El DeBarge style as an adult, or I can sing like Michael Jackson as a kid. As weird as it may sound, you know what I mean? I can make my voice do anything, but because that was my my greatest inspiration, the Jackson 5 was my greatest inspiration. That's what I chose to do. You know what I mean? Because that's what New Edition was doing. The Jackson 5. We were all trying to be the Jackson 5 in those days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but what was did you guys, because what Timmy did mention that, you guys did cross paths with New Edition, but could you remember crossing paths with New Edition back in those early days?
Oh yeah. They were friends of ours. They were friends of ours. They were our friends. I'm telling you, man, I'm very impressed with New Edition. You know why I'm so impressed with New Edition? Because when we met them, see, you got to realize you could be a nobody in one town and be a complete superstar in another town.
Yeah.
Especially in those days, you know what I mean? Because that's before social media. So in New York, we were popular. In Boston, we were superstars.
Wow.
Yeah. So when we met New Edition, they looked at us as peers. They thought that we were on their level. You know what I mean? Because the first time we met New Edition, we went to Boston. We went to Boston to do a show, right? And I saw Bobby Brown, and I saw Bobby Brown in the crowd. And I'm a silly ass kid, so I sneak out and go run, and I introduce myself. Hey, what's up? You Bobby Brown? I said, yeah. You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, I go back to the dressing room, and then Bobby and Michael came back to the dressing room to meet us, and that's how the friendship began. So we did a show. We did the show that night, and honestly, if I'm not exaggerating, it was like as if the Beatles were performing. The girls went crazy. They went crazy. It went so crazy that we couldn't finish the show. They snatched us off the stage.
Wow.
The bodyguards snatched us off the stage and threw us in the limousine, and the girls was running top speed trying to catch up to the limo. You know what I mean? It was crazy like that because we were, I don't know, man. It makes me sad, to be honest, when I think about how big we could have been. You know what I mean? Because look at Teddy by himself. You know what I mean? And then look at Timmy as a songwriter. And even the side of Timmy that people don't know about is Timmy was an amazing performer.
Wow.
Amazing. He was an amazing performer. You know what I mean? And his vocals were like the guy from Ready for the World.
Melvin Riley Jr.
Yeah. Try to imagine Melvin Riley Jr., but amazing showmanship and swag like D'Angelo or somebody. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I mean, amazing. He was amazing. And I was an extremely good dancer and performer myself. You know what I mean? And even Teddy had amazing swag. You know what I mean? So together, and plus they were instrumentalists. You know what I mean? Teddy played keyboards, Timmy played bass. And those days, I wasn't really a musician. I could play stuff, but I wasn't really like a real musician. I was just the singer. It was amazing. But I'm gonna tell you what messed us up. What messed us up was the fact that the record company made me the lead singer solely.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Timmy was the lead singer. By the time we got signed, I guess we both were the lead singer.
Yeah.
And we would split leads, but the record company made only me the lead singer. And the reason why they did that because I sounded like I was 8 years old.
Okay.
So it was the sound of the day. You know what I mean? that real nasally, high-pitched Michael Jackson sound, you know what I mean? And that's why they did that. But what it did was it put a wedge between us. It put a wedge between us, you know what I mean? And it just ended it forever. You know what I mean? Because I don't care how much you love people, when you have it in your mind that you want to play a certain position in your group, and the record company takes that completely away from you and gives it to one of your friends, it's always going to be that little bit of tension. You know what I mean? Like he didn't, you know what I mean? We didn't fight or anything like that, or have any kind of tension between us. But I'm just guessing, this is something, because we never talked about this. I'm guessing that, you know, this it's like him being in Kids at Work with me took away from his dream, which was to be a lead singer. And for some reason, they wouldn't let him sing. And I never understood it. You know what I mean? I never understood it. I didn't like that the producers did that. You know what I mean? They wouldn't let him sing nothing. Like he sang one part on one song. But when we did the demo for Kids at Work, he sang half the stuff. Matter of fact, he sang more than I did. You know what I mean? So I never liked the fact that they did that. Like it was really bad. Where I mean, one time we were in the studio, we were in the studio getting ready to record, but we were just, you know, doodling around the piano. Like Teddy was playing the piano, and Timmy was singing something, right? And our manager, which was Gene at the time, he walked up to Timmy. He said, "Stop singing. That's your lead singer right there," pointing to me. When he did that, I was like, it scared me. It's like in my heart, I knew it was the beginning of the end, because I know me. If I always wanted to be a front man and be a singer and be up front dancing and splitting and spinning and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. If somebody told me you're only gonna sing background, this guy gonna sing, I would be devastated. So I can only imagine what he went through. You know what I mean? Like the singer, like he wrote all the songs by himself. I mean, he wrote all the lyrics. You know what I mean? Him and Teddy would write the music a lot of the times. You know what I mean? Or a lot of times Timmy would write the music. You know what I mean? I wrote only one song on the album. Timmy wrote everything else.
Timmy did mention that he was upset also the fact that they didn't let you guys produce the album.
Man, they didn't even let us in the studio. If we wasn't singing, we wasn't even allowed in the studio half the time. Like when it came to mixing and everything, they didn't allow us in the studio, and they didn't know they had little geniuses on their hands. But in those days, it wasn't popular. It wasn't popular for the artists, especially if they were kids, to be the producers. You know what I mean? They always left that up to the hands of the older guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we went to the studio one time to listen to the mix, and we wasn't even allowed in our own session. Wow. You know what I mean? We were very disappointed. Imagine not allowing Teddy Riley into the studio to mix a song.
And the fact is, I've spoken to his engineers, and they said he's probably one of the best mixers and engineers among all of the people that he's worked with.
Teddy, the world doesn't even know how talented Teddy is. Teddy is a damn genius. He plays drums, he plays guitar, he plays bass, he plays keyboards. Like I play all that now because of Teddy. That's what influenced me. He could play anything. Anything. He was literally a one-man band. Like I've seen him, he's the only person I've seen him do this. He used to have like 3 and 4 keyboards and a drum machine, and he would play everything at the same time and be a one-man band. You know what I mean? Like looking back, I wish he would have done that for Kids at Work. You know what I mean? He was literally a one-man band. You know what I mean? He used to perform with this guy named Omar Chandler at the Apollo. He would be a one-man band. He would pre-program only the drum beats, but the drums would be playing, and he'd be playing 2 and 3 keyboards and sound like a whole entire band by himself. The guy was a genius. a
Wow.
genius. And that's who we had. Like, we were just, we had 3 weeks to record the album, the Kids at Work album. When we first got signed, we had 3 weeks to record it. That was like tea and crumpets to him. I go to his house, he do the music in about a half an hour, and I sing the song, and we out. It was easy as pie working with him. Easy as pie. And like, he's a great producer. He can produce the hell out of vocals too. Whatever singer you are, you're gonna be twice as good after he worked with you. You know what I mean? And Timmy could write anything, anytime, any style, right away. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that these guys are not around me now. You know what I mean? But at the same time, they don't know how much I was watching them. I was watching them like a hawk. I learned everything they knew how to do, I learned how to do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Everything they learned how to do, I taught myself how to do throughout the years, but it took me 20 years though.
Yeah. What's happened? What was the first impression when Gene Griffin did come into the picture? Because you said you had a manager before Gene stepped in. So what was the
manager that we had, he passed away. He passed away like a year before we got the deal. You know what I mean? He was like my dad. He was my dad in a sense. Like, I lived with him. I lived with him and his family when he passed away. You know what I mean? Back and forth. You know what I mean? I still, to this day, his wife is still like my mother. We still, to this day, we still see each other and still hang out. You know what I mean? And so I met Gene the day we got signed. You know what I mean? Like, we basically got called to, I have a photographic memory, so I can remember everything. We went up to the record company on a Wednesday. About 2:00 in the afternoon. I think it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. We went up there, and the first Gene, basically, this is Gene. Basically, Gene was like, "As of today, I am your manager. My name is Gene Griffin. The name of your group is called Kids at Work." Like, he named the group. He had the name of the group. The name of your group is called Kids at Work. You guys are gonna have a record out in 6 weeks. You know what I mean? I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at Timmy, I'm looking at Teddy like, oh my God. You know what I mean? It was like the movies. I couldn't believe it. And of course, he made, we had to sign almost right away. So, it's like, you know how that go.
Yeah.
But, Gene Griffin represents the best of the times to me. You know what I mean? He might have done whatever he might have done. You know what I mean? I was a kid. I didn't pay no attention to whatever underhandedness he might have done money-wise. I don't even know. You know what I mean? I just assume because I never made any money with Kids at Work. But he represented the best. He was the one that gave me the confidence that I have today. Okay. Before Gene Griffin, I was a scared kid that wouldn't sing for nobody but Timmy and Teddy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, the first time I really got on stage, like for real got on stage, was because Teddy made me. Like, literally made me. I went to, Teddy was doing a show with his old band. We were signed then, but we hadn't come out yet. And before the show, Teddy walks up to me, he says, "My lead singer is hoarse. Can you come out and sing Billie Jean and Beat It?" Billie Jean and Beat It. I was like, hell no. You know what I mean? Because that side of me, I was like, I'm from the hood. So singing Michael Jackson in front of a bunch of your people and thugs and all that kind of stuff it's just not what I wanted to do. I was scared. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be, looked at a certain way. Yeah. He was like, well, he was like, I'm going to call you on stage anyway. I'm like, I'm not going on there. So they go over the show. Next thing you know, just out the blue, Teddy goes, "I'd like to call Clurel Henderson to the stage." I'm like, He gets the whole damn room to go, come on. I forgot what they were saying, but they was repeatedly urging me to go onto the stage. So I'm like, oh my God. So I get on stage, right? Now, mind you, at this point, I've known Timmy and Teddy maybe 3, 4, 5 years.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I get ready to sing, right? They start playing they start playing Billie Jean, right? And I start dancing and singing. For some reason, even though I was scared, I danced like almost all out. And when I got off stage, Timmy was laughing really, really, really hard. I couldn't believe it. But at the same time, he was like, yo, I didn't know you can move like that. And when he said that to me, I was like, it struck me. It's like, because Timmy was in a sense like my dancing partner. We danced together all the time. You know what I mean? The fact that he didn't know that I could move like that let me know that all these years I've been holding back. You know what I mean? So from that point on, I've been going all out on stage. You know what I mean? I go all out now. Very interesting times.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, good.
No, I was going to get to.
So I mean, after the record.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's up to you. Wherever you want to go with it.
Yeah, no, I wanted to get a time.
Going to continue the story of what happened.
Yeah, no, but I wanted to see.
I'm sorry.
How long did you get to? How long did you know these guys? Because most of us would think Kids Away was probably a year or two, but how long would you say that when you first met Timmy that you put out the first album out? I mean,
I must have met them. I guess I met them. I don't know when I met. It must have been like 80, 81, 82. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. So early 80s. That's something that early 80s or something like that. I don't know. And so Kids at Work came out with Sugar Baby and it did okay. It was top 50 on the Billboard charts and it did okay around the country or whatever. Then we came out with Singing Hey Yeah, and Kids at Work was getting ready to be the biggest group ever. We was getting ready to be really big. And I mean, like we were like the number 6 requested song in the city in New York.
Wow.
And Cool It Now was the number 5 requested song in the city. We were number 6.
Wow.
And Mr. Telephone Man was number 7. That's how good my memory is. So we were really on our way. We were really on our way. And right in the midst of that, Gene got arrested. And Gene believed in us so much that he spent so much of his personal money on us that he started to run out of money. So I don't know what happened. I've heard that he went back and tried to make money the way he used to make money from the streets. You know what I mean? And he got caught. That's all I know. All I know is that at the height of everything, I'm walking to the record company, and Timmy and this guy named Dave Peasley, who was also a mentor of ours and a friend of ours, was standing outside, and Timmy looking all sad. I'm like, what's wrong? He said, the IRS is upstairs. I'm like, what? He said, the IRS. He said, the IRS is upstairs. I go upstairs because I had clothes up there. Some beautiful clothes. And I went upstairs to get my clothes, and the white man opened the door. Who are you? I'm, a singer-signed record company. I'm just coming to get my stuff. They let me come get my stuff for some reason. I'm surprised. I got my stuff, but that was, it was the end. So after that happened, we did a few shows, we tried to keep it going, you know what I mean? Because we were popular around certain parts of the country. We were like the number one group down south, you know what I mean? And, so after the Kids at Work thing kind of dwindled down, then it was time to start making demos again to get another deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for some reason, the times were changing, the sound was changing. So they didn't want me to sing lead anymore.
Timmy and Teddy.
Yeah, they didn't want me to sing lead anymore. And it's fine, but you can't give somebody a bowl of cookies and then take it away and expect them to be happy about it. So, I just, I was like, all right, man, well, I quit. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I mean, if you're not gonna let me sing, I quit. You know what I mean? So I quit the group, and they started doing things on their own, and they had gotten a deal on a small label called Rooftop Records, right? So one day Timmy called me, asked me to sing, to come there and sing background for one of their records, right? So I came up there to sing background for one of their records, and I liked the operation and everything, and so I wanted to see if the guy who owned the place wanted to wanted to maybe sign me as a solo artist. You know what I mean? So he was like a little iffy. He was like, he didn't know me like that, so he wanted to get to know me first. So anyway, one thing led to another. Timmy and Teddy had a show at this big club at the time called Red Parrot. It's a very famous club in the mid '80s, and they, Timmy asked me that I wanted to come out in the middle of the show and singing "Hey Yeah." That was this hit song we had out.
Yeah.
I was like, sure, that would be great. I'd love to, whatever I might have said. So anyway, one thing led to another. The night of the show, right? Timmy and Teddy's downstairs, on stage doing their show. I was upstairs, of course I was a little nervous or whatever. So there was a lot of celebrities there that night. It was like a lot of celebrities there that night. You know what I mean? So when they called me to the stage, Timmy and Teddy, I forget if it was Timmy or Teddy. I think it was Teddy. It's like I like to call Clurel Henderson to the stage or whatever. I don't know. So when I came, it was like a steps that led to us to the stage, right? So I'm walking down the steps to go to the stage, right? And the girls started screaming so much. Just mind you, I'm not a celebrity. I had a little popularity, kids at work, but I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a celebrity in New York at the time. I'm not a celebrity in New York. The girls were screaming so loud that I looked behind me because there was so many stars there. I thought that maybe it was a star behind me or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm looking behind me. Nobody's behind me. They're screaming for me. I'm like, huh? You know what I mean? I hug Teddy. I get on stage. I do a little spin. Me and Timmy get right into step. I sing, "Hey Yeah," the girls go crazy. And the next day, Timmy is like, "Yo, you want to be back in the group?" I'm like, "Yep." And then, so we put out a record. It goes nowhere. I never really liked how the record came out and all that kind of stuff. That's another long story that doesn't need to be told. And then Teddy, because the group wasn't working out. Teddy, he starts focusing more on his production as a producer. You know what I mean? He started doing a lot of production. Like I was there when Heavy D came to do his song, Mr. Big Stuff.
Oh,
I was there. I seen Teddy do that. It's like it sounded better than if you listen to the record. What Teddy did sounds better than the record. You know what I mean? Because in those days, you do a demo, then you would do it. Then you go in the studio and do it over.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times the demos would always be better than the record. You know what I mean? I was there when Teddy did. Who else he did? Whew, Teddy boy, Kumo D. Who else? It was somebody else. Oh, I was there when Teddy did the show.
Oh,
how fresh.
How,
you know what I mean?
What did you witness when he did that? That. What did you notice?
Man, all I know is I don't remember why I came to Teddy's house, but I know he wanted me to do a favor for him or something like that. I came there for some reason. I don't know what it was. Maybe I had to give him some equipment or something like that. I walked in the door and he was bam, bam, bam. Like, what the hell is this? What is this? And like, I don't know, maybe a year later or whatever, it was out. I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? That guy was amazing, man. Like, amazing. That's like, I've always been right there, but never, like I met Elder Barge. I met Elder Barge at Warner Brothers when I was signed to Quincy Jones. I used to be signed to Quincy Jones in the early 90s. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. No, so we're gonna move forward to the 90s, but before we get there, when the track that you guys put out after you came back to the group didn't go anywhere, is it Teddy that left, or did three of you just say that's the end, or what was the conversation?
Teddy left first. Teddy left first because we had a show in North Carolina because we had some airplay in Greenville, I think it was North Carolina, something like that, and so we were on the radio then, and we had a show scheduled down there, and Teddy just didn't show up. He just didn't show up.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't blame him. He was getting that money.
Oh,
he was getting that money because we were not. So our manager at the time, who was a guy named LaVeva, who was also a friend of ours, he kind of looked like Teddy, like Timmy. Him and Timmy they looked similar. So he was like, I'll just take Teddy's place. I'll just be in the group. You know what I mean? Because he actually did the record with us. He sang partial lead on one of our songs.
Okay.
So he's like, it was just, the right thing to do at the time. So he did the show with us. And then, after a while, it wasn't working out. And Timmy, stopped coming around. You know what I mean? Because he was starting to do good. You know what I mean? He's starting to get a lot of work. Whatever. Or whatever he was doing. I don't know. I know he had moved to Virginia and he got married and all that kind of stuff. So he left. Then I stayed. And matter of fact, I had put out a solo record called it was a song called Hurt Town, but it didn't come out good. But the mix came out terrible. But the actual song that I did was actually, it's so funny. That's why I get so mad sometimes. The song I did was a song called Hurt Town. It was the first New Jack Swing song that Teddy did ever. I'm telling you, I don't even know if he remembers that. The first New Jack Swing song that Teddy ever did in his life was a song called Hurt Town. It was a dope song, but when they left and then I did it by myself and some guy came to mix it, he messed up the mix and it came out terrible. You know what I mean? But it was the first song because he did that song in, I want to say like 85. You know what I mean? Maybe 84, 85 or something like that. It's the first, if it's not the first New Jack Swing song he did, it's the first one I ever heard. And in those days, I was around him all the time. You know what I mean? Because, Teddy always had a mature sound with his music. You know what I mean? But that's the first time I seen him swing the drums like that. You know what I mean? It was like, boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? That's the first time I heard him do that. You know what I mean? Then after that, that's when he did Heavy D. And he started swinging drums. Boom, 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 boom. That guy's amazing. So
what happened? Did the single come out? What happened to the song? What happened to the song?
It came out, but it was honestly, if I'm being honest, it was whack. It was whack. The song was dope. Just the mix was whack.
Okay.
It was a dope song. It was really dope. It was a song that Timmy had originally sang, and Timmy and Teddy was supposed to come out with that song by themselves when we wasn't in the group together.
You said it's called what? Hurt Town?
Huh? Hurt Town.
Hurt, like in someone being hurt?
Yeah, like I hurt myself. Hurt Town. It's the same concept as Heartbreak Hotel. Remember Heartbreak Hotel by the Jacksons?
Yeah.
It's the same concept.
Was it under your name then?
Yeah, Clurel. Just my first name, Clurel. Clurel, Hurt Town. It's probably on YouTube somewhere. I don't know. I can't find. I found like some kind of dub mix of it, but I haven't found the actual record of it.
Oh, and you don't have a copy of it?
No, I don't have a copy. I don't have a copy of none of that stuff. I got copies of the new stuff.
Okay. So you didn't have any. Okay. So when Timmy goes off and Teddy goes off, what's happening with you when they've
at this point I'm just making demos. You know what I mean? Like I'm still signed to the record company that Timmy and Teddy was signed to when they were trying to do a thing together before God.
That was Rooftop.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Rooftop. So I'm still signed to them. And I got keys to the studio. I'm just going in there and I'm basically, honestly, I'm basically almost living in the studio, like literally living in the studio. Because I was a rebellious kid. You know what I mean? I didn't listen to my mother, and a lot of times she wouldn't let me stay there. You know what I mean? So a lot of times I didn't have nowhere to go. I would sleep in the studio. I would just sleep in the studio. You know what I mean? And sadly, it's like I became when I was an older teenager, I became like a womanizer because I used it to survive. You know, I would literally go out and meet girls just so I could spend the night at their house. You know what I mean? And yeah, so at this point I was just making demos and trying to get record deals, but I didn't know how to produce myself in those days. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had Timmy and Teddy. I was spoiled. You know what I mean? I would just, in the kids' work days, I would just show up. Timmy would show me the lyrics. Teddy had already did the music. I would learn the lyrics and I would just sing and leave. It was easy. It was easy. You know what I mean? So when they left, because Timmy was the organizer, he was the one that Timmy could walk up to a gangster. Timmy would walk up to a gangster and say, "Yo, man, I got a singing group. Would you be interested in managing us?" He didn't care who they were. He was just a very bold guy. And Teddy was the type of guy he could walk up to anybody too and get deals. That's how we got the deal through Teddy. But Timmy was the one who organized for people to pay for us to go in the studio all the time.
Wow.
So these guys were like everything. They were like business-wise, they were everything to me. You know what I mean? And I was just a singer. So when they left, it was like my parents left or something. It was like I didn't know what to do. So I would make demos, and sometimes I would almost, like, the closest I ever got was when you heard of Kumo D?
Yeah.
Me and Kumo D ended up having the same manager.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because LaVeba, the guy that was managing us, he started managing Kumo D. Actually, Teddy had made the first record of Kumo D. And when Kumo D became a big star, then LaVeba saw me one time in the studio. He said, I should work with you again. You know what I mean? So he put me in this group, and he had gotten he got a label deal with Quincy Jones. You know what I mean? And then I got signed to Quincy Jones. You know what I mean? So I came close, and I don't know what happened. All I know is we lost the deal right before we came out. Wow. We never came out. You know what I mean? And this group would have been another bad group too. Woo! I just stuff like this just kept on happening to me. You know what I mean? I would get right there and lose the whole situation. You know what I mean? Like, I remember I was and I remember when one time this guy from Baltimore, because I'm actually in Baltimore right now. This guy from Baltimore was gonna sign me to Rough Riders. Remember Rough Riders with DMX in them?
Yeah.
He had a label deal with Rough Riders, and it was me. I was singing in a group. I was in a group with this girl named Tasha, a good friend of mine named Tasha. We was in a group together, and we were signed. We were getting ready to sign with Rough Riders under this man's label, and we did the record, and then he died.
Wow.
He got shot and died. You know what I mean? So it's like, stuff like that just kept on happening to me. Like, I'll be right there. Nope, psych. Taking it away. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, I remember one time, I remember Teddy's company, when Teddy and Gene had their record company,
GR Productions.
Yeah, GR Productions. They called me for a solo deal on MCA, but I was signed to Rooftop, so I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave. You know what I mean? And this is when Teddy was at the height of his career.
Yeah.
This is when Guy was like the biggest group in the world, and Teddy was like 6 and 7 songs on the radio will all be done by Teddy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I could have had a major deal on MCA. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What was it like when after you'd broken up, and then all of a sudden did you know that Timmy, Aaron, and Teddy were working on the debut Guy album?
Yeah. I one day I was in the I saw them at the club, the same club I said earlier, the Red Parrot. I was out partying, doing what I do. I saw Timmy. What's up, Tim? What's up, man? This is Aaron, singing in my group. What's up, man? And we all met, and it was me, Timmy, Teddy, and Aaron. We hung out for the whole night, had a ball, laughing, joking, and everything. You know what I mean? I remember Aaron after the club. Aaron had fell asleep on the bench. He was like this on the bench. I run up and he was like, ah! So we was all cool. And I used to come to Teddy's house and listen, and watch them make their record. You know what I mean?
Are you serious?
Like, I heard, yeah, I heard I Like and Groove Me and all that stuff before it came out. Round and Round and all that kind of. Round and Round was the first song that Teddy showed me from the album. You know what I mean? Yeah, and you know, it was bittersweet. I'm not gonna lie. I was sad but happy because you know Gene had came back into the picture, and you know he wanted to work with me again. You know, so I was happy about that. You know what I mean? But it took a long time because I was still under contract and everything. But yeah.
So they couldn't get you onto Guy. They couldn't say, "Why don't you come in and be one of them?"
I don't think they would have done that because you know it's just you know what it is about people. This is the funny thing about people, and I'm saying people, all of us. People always are victims of their greatest success. Meaning, if you, I became popular in the '80s, so I still wore my hair all long down my back. Okay. But I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave the '80s, and Timmy and them was ready to leave the '80s. Timmy and them had the fresh, flat tops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't want to get a flat top. I was always the type of person, I can't walk around looking like everybody else. You know what I mean? I got to have my own identity. You know what I mean? I guess, you know, it's not that they if they would have said, yo, if you cut your hair, I'll let you be in the group with us. I probably would have done it. Reluctantly, I would have done it, but I would have done it. But, you know. But they didn't say that. You know, I guess they figured, you know, it wasn't no room for me in Guy. You know what I mean? I would have done it, but it wasn't no room for me. I was the lead singer of Kids at Work, and Aaron was the lead singer of Guy, and you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And, you know, I still wanted to be, you know, Ralph Tresvant and Michael Jackson and El DeBarge, and and everybody else wanted to be like, you know, like more like Bobby Brown and you know, that kind of vibe. You know what I mean? I wasn't with it at the time.
Well, but I think in hindsight, but at that time, from Michael to Ralph and even El in the Barge, that was the sound that was on the radio and getting pushed. So I guess it wasn't until Prerogative that Bobby's kind of sound really took off, and the sort of, and I think Aaron, with the Gap Band, sort of ushered in that sense of church male vocalists. So where we had the strong church influence in music, that the label said, yeah, we're going to start pushing that. But prior to that, it was the pop, you know, it was what New Edition were doing. It was that type of Michael Jackson stuff because it was more of a pop.
I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. Like in the '90s, everything got rougher. You know what I mean? Like, what's you call it? Gangster rap was getting popular.
Yeah, L. Kelly, Jodeci,
yeah. See, in the '80s, the rappers were copying the singers. In the '90s and on up, the singers started copying the rappers. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be a thug. I'm not a thug, so I didn't want to be a thug. You know what I mean? I wanted to be who I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think I fit in. I just didn't fit in for a long time. You know what I mean? I didn't fit in for a long time. I started vocal coaching back in the late '90s.
Okay.
Because of that.
Did the success of, say, Groove Me, were you surprised how big it blew up worldwide?
No. That song is crazy. That's me and Teddy got back hanging together a lot. That's one thing I liked about Teddy. When Teddy blew up, Teddy called me. He'd be like, jump in the cab. Meet me at the studio or meet me at my house. You know what I mean? I'd be riding in the car with Teddy in his fly BMW when Groove Me would come on the radio. You know what I mean? That's what I liked about people like that. I like people who be the same even when they blow up. You know what I mean? Even Timmy, when Timmy started blowing up in the early '90s, you know what I mean? Doing all this writing for these people and New Edition and whoever he wrote for, you know what I mean? And Christopher Williams and all these people. I'd go see him at his mother's house. We still hang out like the old days. You know what I mean? No love lost.
Yeah. But were you aware when he got, what did you make of when he got sort of ousted from Guy? Was that a surprise for you? Because, you know, you described Timmy as being the organizer and the visionary. And when you're talking to Timmy, he talks about how he came up with the idea and everything. And then Gene, he played with you It seems as if he had it in for Timmy from day one, because if he already said Timmy stop singing Clurel, it's almost as if he saw Timmy as had too much intelligence, so I need to get rid of it because
Well, you know what it is? You know what it is? It's like the same situation with Andre Harrell and Puffy. You know what I mean? Andre Harrell had to get rid of Puffy because it was two alpha males. You know what I mean? Two alpha males sometimes can't exist in the same company. You know what I mean? Timmy is an organizer. He's a leader like type guy. You know what I mean? And you're not telling him what to do. If he don't agree with it, he's not having it. Wow. You know what I mean? Gene was a very intimidating gangster looking guy. Big, strong. He was a black belt in karate.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He was a big, strong, bald-headed, intimidating man. You know what I mean? About 6 feet. You know what I mean? Timmy, just the type of guy, you're like, and
wow.
You know what I mean? That's just how he was, even as a kid. You know what I mean? It's just how he was. Me, I was taught to respect my elders, and I didn't, you know, I was more agreeable. You know what I mean? So that didn't surprise me. It made me sad, but it didn't surprise me. It made me sad though. You know what I mean? Because if God, I mean, and this is no disrespect to Damian Hall, because he's cool with me too. At least I knew him back in the day. But God, the world's never seen the best of God. The best of God would have been Timmy, Teddy, and Aaron. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, it's just about it's that showmanship. Timmy had that. Like to this day, I call him. To this day, I'll call him every once in a while. I'll be like, "Yo, what do you? Come on, man. You need to be an artist." And he, you know, I guess he was like, he's done with it. you know, he never talked about it. He's just done with it. I'm like, yo, you go get out, go running, lose some weight, whatever, and show the world what you really made of. Because nobody never seen that. They don't know. Like, have you ever seen Timmy perform? Like, I remember he was on Soul Train one time.
Yeah, we've seen it. Yeah, Rock My World or something.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't crazy about the song. You know what I mean? And I understand because Timmy's at the time his heart was broken.
Yeah.
He was like, in his mind, he was like, hey, I wrote Groove Me. I wrote I Like. So what Timmy ended up doing, he ended up going in the studio and doing God by himself. You know, he wanted to prove a point, and I understand it, but I think, anyway, if you see that performance, you'll see how great of a performer he was. He's a great performer, but he just never got his just due as a performer. I still think he should do it. You know, in these days, because of social media, it don't matter how old you are. Nobody gives a damn about how old you are. You want to sing.
So then what happened? You said you met El DeBarge, Santa Quincy. What happened with the whole situation then?
I told you, remember, I told you that's, well, all I know, because when in those days when you had a record that was scheduled to come out, you would always be on a chalkboard. You know, the name of the group was called The New.
The New.
And we was on a chalkboard. We had the release date. We had the treatment for the video. The music video, we was going to shoot a music video. We already did the album cover pictures, and all I know is that my manager at the time had gotten into some kind of lawsuit. A lawsuit with another artist that he was dealing with, and I don't know what happened, but I heard that Quincy Jones heard about it and then dropped the whole situation. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just don't know. We had a fly song too, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but you think you met with El earlier in the earlier.
I met El at Warner Brothers was having a get together, and Holyfield, Evander Holyfield, a boxer, and George Foreman was fighting.
Oh, okay.
And I sat. I'm a stupid kid. I come down. I come in there and I just sit down. I sat in L's seat by mistake. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, that's my seat. But he was like a really nice guy, He was like, no problem. I'm like, really nice guy. I'm telling you, Hey, yo, if you see this video, I got heat for you. You need to come see me. I got songs because he's like my biggest inspiration. You know what I mean? I got songs that he would like literally love. I got heat for you, L. I'm telling you, come see me.
Okay.
That was a bad boy, man.
Yeah, I mean, but he also talks. Yeah, if you saw the interview, he talks about his own challenges with Motown not letting him release his own stuff, and
I
also,
saw that. I saw that. I'm like, what the? I always wondered why his solo project back then didn't sound like his album with his family.
mm,
You know what I mean? Like I always, now I know why. They didn't let him write.
yeah,
It's like a genius. Like, are you kidding me? I've been in the studio with his brother Chico one time. I met his brother Chico in the studio one time.
wow,
Genius.
yeah.
Genius. These guys are multi-talented musicians and songwriters. Amazing. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, are you kidding me? And his brother, oh my God.
Which one,
His
Bobby
brother
or Chico?
Bobby.
Okay, Bobby, yeah.
Bobby. Oh, Bobby is literally the greatest falsetto I've ever heard in my life. Literally. I'm talking about from girls and guys.
Wow.
And literally, when I was a little kid, I said, I am going to have a falsetto like Bobby, a passion like Marvin Gaye, and a tone and height like Michael Jackson.
Mm.
And I worked on that my whole life until I achieved it. Like my girlfriend who I'm seeing now, like she'd never heard of Bobby DeBarge, right? So one day I was like, I said, listen to this guy. This guy is one of my biggest influences. I put the song on and she was like, oh my God, that sounds just like you.
Wow. Wow.
I was like, wow, that was the greatest compliment. But that's what I do. I'm able to mimic my voice to anything. You know what I mean? So I can go from the lowest low to the highest high in any style. So I just chose to sing like Bobby DeBarge, L. DeBarge, Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye, or whoever. You know what I mean?
I mean, so how did you get into the way you are now, vocal coaching?
Oh, our vocal coach. When we were kids, we had a vocal coach. Well, I met him in the studio. He wasn't our vocal coach at the time. He was this guy named Craig Derry. He's a world famous vocal coach. He worked with everybody from Michael Jackson on down. You know what I mean? Mm. Like the Babe one time brought me over to Sugar Hill Records to sing background, and this guy named Craig Derry was there. He had to audition me to make sure I was good enough to sing background. You know what I mean? He was like, who the hell is this kid? You know what I mean? So he come in and listen, hey, you ain't singing background unless you can sing. He was like, hit this note. All right, now hit this note. All right, now let me see. Oh, okay. He's the one that got me back. So I kept in touch with him. Like he actually was out there in California with us with the Quincy Jones deal too, coaching us. So anyway, I ran into Craig in the early 90s. I was completely depressed and completely overweight and sad because, I lost everything. I lost the Quincy Jones deal. I hardly ever saw Timmy and Teddy no more because they was out traveling and whatever they were doing, you know what I mean? So I didn't see nobody anymore. And he kind of mentored me, and he would give me vocal lessons, and he would let me use his equipment. And then eventually he taught me how to vocal coach. So I would, the first time I actually had to do a vocal coaching class, I'm the same age as the students, so I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this. They look at me like, I'm not listening to you. Where's Craig? You know what I mean? So it was hard getting into it at first. Then, after years went on, I started getting a little older. Then they started respecting me more. Because I don't really age, you know what I mean? So, a lot of times these people, even after I got older, people still think I was still a baby, like their age and shit. So anyway, my first big, who my first big client was? Teddy.
Oh.
Yep. Teddy in Blackstreet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like the late '90s, and here I am working with Teddy. You know, like of course, he hired Craig, but Craig brought me down there as I was his assistant.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
and did Teddy
Yeah.
know? Did he was he surprised to see you?
I don't know if he knew I was coming because he did seem kind of surprised. He's like, what's up, man? And he get on the phone with his wife. He's like, guess who's here? Clurel. And the first thing she asked, she was like, is his hair still long? He's like, no, he finally cut his hair. It took years for me to cut my hair. But anyway, I work with Blackstreet. Then I remember early millennium. I worked with Ashanti. You know what I mean? Missy Elliott, Khalees. You know, I started working with everybody after a while. You know what I mean? Little Mo. I mean, everybody. You know what I mean? So it was, it's funny. I had planned to only vocal coach for a year. I was like, I'm a vocal coach. I'm gonna do this for about a year, and then I'm gonna, go back to. I'm gonna save my money and go back to singing. But one thing led to another. Here I am. I'm still vocal coaching. I'm still here, but it's cool.
Yeah, but how how is that going though? Is this stuff that you are still able to build on? Are you still working on getting referrals? Because I remember interviewing Rab, who who also went into vocal coaching. Rab Stevens, who had the song I can't remember his song now, but Rab, because he was part with he was with 911 for a bit, but then went and did vocal coaching, and he talks about building his resume as a vocal coach as opposed to singing. Is that something that you see that as still expanding as a vocal coach, or?
You know what, man? Vocal coaching is what is very unsung. It's very unsung. You can work with, like, look at me. My resume. I work with everybody. It don't matter. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't work with the same people that I vocal coach, let's say if I would have produced them all, I'd be the man. You know what I mean? But vocal coaches don't really get their just due. You know what I mean? Every now and then you'll see like this one guy, I think his name is Kenny Hicks. He became really prolific with the vocal coaching. Like he used to do he vocal coached the Spice Girls back in the day, and they bought him a Corvette. You know what I mean? Nobody never bought me no damn car. But it's all right. You know what I mean? It pays the bills, and it keeps me close to what I love best. You know what I mean? I have a whole studio in my basement, so I got live drums and guitars and and all this stuff because I only do live music. So I'm still doing it, but vocal coaching is limiting as far as prestige. You can make a lot of money doing it, but it's limiting as far as prestige.
But we know somebody like Seth Riggs.
I know of him.
So he's Michael Jackson, and he was, and I think he was connected with Quincy. So any of those big people who needed any of those sort of big people Quincy was working with, that was the guy based in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So so he was the top of the top when it came to vocal coaching.
Yeah, see, I think people like him, and like Craig Gary, people like him and like them, they planned on being a vocal coach.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like Craig has one of the greatest voices I've ever heard. I honestly, I don't know anybody in the world who sings better than Craig. But for some reason, I can't get him in the studio. I can't get him to cut a record. You know what I mean? He wants to be a vocal coach. I want to be on stage. You know what I mean? I still sing and I still do shows and stuff, but the reason why somebody like me has to be on stage as opposed to people like them is because I can't sit still. You know what I mean? When I'm on stage, I'm spinning, I'm splitting, I'm you know what I mean? I do it all. You know what I mean? So it's like I can't keep still. I got to get it out. Like I jump off the stage. I'm like Bobby Brown in 1986 or something. You know what I mean? To this day.
Yeah, people might look at people look at you and think, okay, so you were in a group with Timmy and Teddy, but you looked as if they aged and you decided to stand still. And you would have told us, remember told us what as well.
Yeah, but I just don't, I can't tell you why I don't really age, but I'm just glad I don't. Thank the Father I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, you look good. It's like what it is. It is what it is. But you know what? No, it's just a black thing. No black, black people. We don't age. None of us age. It's just that if you, a lot of us get out of shape.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't care who you are. If you're listening, like I've been trying to get in touch with Bobby Brown. I want to get in touch with Bobby because we used to be friends.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned, yeah.
I got it. I'm trying to get in touch with Bobby Brown. I can make Bobby Brown like the Bobby Brown we know. I can make him like that. You know what I mean? It's very simple. Like I heard recently that he had a couple of heart attacks. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, I get that. I can still do it. I just got to do it in a different way. I got to do it. All we got to do is speed walk and vocalize every day. Speed walk, vocalize, completely change his diet, and a year, 6 months, 3 months, even, he will be 180 pounds and yeah. I'm back. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I can do that. I'm trying to. What you know? What I'm heavily into. Like I wish that I can get in touch with El DeBarge, Bobby Brown, Jermaine Jackson. Believe it or not, and because I got what they need. I know how to prep people like that for what they really want, and what they really want is what they had. They want what they had. Trust me, they all do. I even wanted to do it for Teddy, but Teddy still looks young though, so
yeah,
Teddy's still very successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But me and Teddy had this conversation about 3 years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago. You know what I mean? I told him because he knows Bobby Brown. I said, "Yo, man, call Bobby Brown for me. Let him know what I'm trying to, And he was like, "Yo, I might need that too." You know what I mean? I said, "Let's do it." But Teddy's so busy. He's so busy. You know what I mean? I think he lives in Africa now. So
yeah, he splits between Vegas and parts of Africa, and he's probably getting.
Interviewed him yet? Have you interviewed him yet?
Not yet.
Oh man, because I heard that you're a big fan of his. I'll call him.
Yeah. So when it comes to, my whole music influence is Teddy, and so my biggest is Michael Jackson and then Teddy. So when so every so
you really need to interview Teddy.
Yeah. So there's probably not an interview that he's done that I haven't listened to. And I'm talking about going back. I think I've been following him since the late '80s and stuff.
Okay.
I'm
gonna call him tonight.
Okay. Yeah. Every person I interview I would always tell them, look, I'm a big fan of his. So that's why I interviewed pretty much everybody that worked with him just to get a picture of that. So no, when it comes to Teddy, there is no bigger fan. But I'm
gonna ask him. I'll ask him to do an interview with you. I think he'll do that.
Yeah, no, that especially as
I know he's really busy with his new addition tour.
Yeah, but he can let us know about what to expect from Guy. But I guess one thing for me, because so my 9 to 5 is I'm a therapist, and one of the things about my channel is that I've been trying to use this as a platform to really educate the community worldwide about the importance of mental health and the importance of things. And for me, listening to your own story and the setbacks that you've gone through, that I wonder from a personal point of view, how have you been able to manage, especially when you think about the fact that the people that you started off with, how their careers went through and yours didn't. How did you navigate that over the years?
By keeping this girl next to me. Music, man. It's like sometimes I feel very sad. You know what I mean? I remember Keith Sweat used to come watch us rehearse. You know what I mean? I get sad sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes even cry. You know what I mean? But when I get that down, I just pick my guitar up, or I go in the studio and I start recording. I record. That's how I get through it. You know what I mean? Thank God that I can do it. See, a lot of other people can go in the studio and they'll play the keyboard and they'll do a beat. It's different when you can actually do like what Motown has done. You know what I mean? Like what I can't play, the only thing I can't play violin and I can't play cello, but I have a thing in my system that's actually, I brought this plugin that's actually a violin and a cello. Like it's actually a violin and a cello. Like these people went in the studio for 3 weeks and they recorded every inflection of a violin and every inflection of a cello. You know what I mean? And I have that. So I have an orchestra, I have a band in me. So I can reproduce any sound I want. From rock to hip hop to country. I've done country for people, I've done gospel for people, I've done Spanish music. You know what I mean? I can do anything musically.
Yeah.
And I have thousands of students all over the world because now I teach virtually now.
Okay.
Like the way I'm talking to you is the way I teach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So because I teach like this, I teach people in Dubai, I teach people in Russia, I teach people in California, I teach people in New York, I teach people, you know what I mean? All over the world. So all of these people that I teach, I also, half of them I produce. You know what I mean? So I stay so busy. And because I'm not aging, and so what I'm doing now, I'm building up my business credit and I'm building up I'm getting into real estate now. You know what I mean? I'm starting to, like I already do Airbnb, but I'm getting ready to do an Airbnb business where it's going to be, high-end vacation rentals all over the country. So what I'm going to do for about a year, I'm going to build my money up so strong with Airbnb. Because the thing about Airbnb is you can make thousands and thousands of dollars and only have to work on it, pay attention to the business, actually like 3 or 4 hours a week. So that'll free me up all the time I need to get back to my music. You know what I mean? Like full time. I'm going to be a full-time artist again, but I can't be a full-time artist as a grown man if I'm not making no money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So once I get my money, see, the thing about me, I still have hope and I still have plans. And I still have, I have goals, I have plans. So that's what kept me going throughout these years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still me.
Yeah, but also there's a part of me that then wonders, hopes that there isn't a sense of regret that you're like, well, it has passed, but I'm still looking forward, because that's one thing that will hold us back if we're constantly, I think there's a verse that says in the Bible about, you don't, if you're pulling a plow and you're looking backwards, I don't even know the best quote, but it's a sense of you can't try and progress if you're constantly looking backwards, and
Yeah. See, you got to realize listen, honestly, the business of music is very, 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 very dark.
Yeah.
I'm glad I dodged that bullet. You know what I mean? And now with social media, I don't need the industry. I don't need the industry. I am the industry. God damn it. I'll put my own stuff out when the time comes. You know what I mean? It don't matter. Even if I do start to age. So I'll just be an old player.
It's yeah.
I mean, look at Ronald Isley.
Yeah.
He got the big white beard now. He look cool as hell. You know what I mean? If Ronald Isley still could come out and be like, "You're contagious," you know what I mean? I could do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, no, definitely. It's definitely been great, really hearing your stories, though. I mean, I always end my interviews by asking my guests, if you were stuck in an elevator, what movie would you request to watch?
If I was stuck in an elevator, what movie would I request to watch?
Yeah, so it's almost like, what's your favorite movie? Because sometimes it's like, let me put on my favorite movie.
Wow, favorite movie. That's an interesting question. What's my favorite movie? I don't know. I love Dreamgirls.
Which one? There's the original one, and then the
the one with Beyonce.
Okay.
Oh, the Jackson 5 or the Temptations?
Okay, but
Jackson Five.
okay. You've named three movies, but which one? What's your go-to
Oh,
one?
whew. Wow, wow. I guess maybe Jackson Five. I guess
Okay, The American Dream.
Jackson's an American story, whatever.
Okay, American Story. Yes, and then finally, what's your all-time favorite song?
Got to Be There by Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Me and My Girlfriend. That's both our favorite songs.
Ah.
That's the great. That voice is the greatest voice I've ever heard in my life. That's the greatest song I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. My favorite is the Lady in My Life of the Thriller album.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Rolling Stones recently did a list of their 200 the best singers ever, and to their shame, they put Michael Jackson at 86, and you know, you know, so they've.
Hey yo, let me tell you something. I know you got to go soon, but I got to tell you this. There is a industry or elite conspiracy against Michael Jackson, and this is how I know. The month he died, right? He died in June of 09, right?
Yeah.
Died in June of 09. I did a show with this, like, it's like a cover band show on July 4th for that next month, right? Mm. We had to do like about 18 songs, right? And the rich people that were there, they requested all these songs for us to do. Now, get Michael Jackson. What day did he die? Was it June 22nd or something like that? I don't know. I forget what it was. Something like that. So he had just died. I didn't get one request to do a Michael Jackson song. Not one request. And this was, I'm telling you, I was singing for the 1%. For the rich people. Mm. You know what I mean? Out in the Hamptons. Nobody wanted to hear Michael Jackson right after he died. I'm telling you. And I've done shows with people like that where they would personally request I not do Michael Jackson. Trust me. He is not liked up in that environment for some reason.
Yeah. And it's especially just a couple of years before that, the sad thing is that he worked hard to build his publishing empire. He was proud of the fact that he owned half of what's Sony Publishing, and he didn't want to let go of that. And within a year of him dying, the estate sells it off. So it's there's no proof that it was part of getting him out the way. We can now take control of it, but and he said it for many times that they have. The moment he became the biggest and broke all the records, then they started to plant all these allegations to discredit him.
Because I was all the way up in that business. The same person who handled Thriller, the same person at CBS Records, at Epic Records, that was in charge of the promotions of everything, handling Thriller, is the same person that handled Kids at Work. Wow. Same person that handled Kids at Work. His name was T.C. Tompkins. You know what I mean? So we've been there. We've been there. I've met everybody from the top all the way to the bottom. You know what I mean? And trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, and sadly for them is that, he set a standard that can't be matched. And of course they're trying. Billboard, Rolling Stones. Was it Rolling Stones? I think it was Rolling Stones that tried to say Harry Styles is the new king of pop.
Who the hell is that?
The former guy from One Direction, but it was just their way of trying to take away, But I said to themselves, well, did they ever crown anyone the new king of rock and roll? They wouldn't have done. They haven't done that and wouldn't do that. So it shows that there has been a conspiracy to try as they can to discredit Michael, and anything they can do. When they did the Surviving Neverland or something like that, it was like, yep, no more
Yep.
music. Let's cancel him. And it didn't take long before that, they had to put him stuff back out. But anyway, it's I think when he reconnected with his community and his base, who started following him from the Jacksons. He got a community that continues to celebrate his legacy, that doesn't let us die out. Um, there's a guy who Pele, the Brazilian footballer. They tried to do the same with him to say, well, he was the best. It wasn't but after he died, it's almost as if everyone now recognizes that he was the greatest ever.
Yeah.
But before he died, they were talking about other people were better than him, and he wasn't best. But and that's what tends to happen is because he was, he was as a pure black man. So most Brazilians are probably white or mixed, but he was a pure black man, the top of his game, and it seems as if they were trying to elevate other footballers who went black above him. But it's you can't discredit excellence and greatness. And so for Michael Jackson, there's no one, whether it's Beyonce or Chris Brown or anyone, can ever reach the heights that he has attained, no matter what they try and do.
He was the greatest that ever done it. Him and James Brown,
bad
boys.
Bad boys. But so it's definitely. I mean, hopefully we'll get to see. I mean, it's really good to see that you're still making music. Although I don't think most of us have heard most of your stuff, so it might be something. Hopefully in due time we get to see more of your music and what you're doing out there, because I think that's the one thing that helps us know that you're still around and to look forward to stuff. If we start to see you performing songs, whether it's Hey Yeah or any of those, or any of the old songs and stuff, it would be great just to see your renditions of those songs, whether it's from your studio or guitar, because that, in a way, I think that's what social media, the internet has done, is to give a spotlight. I mean, I started this during lockdown, and you know, bit by bit, it has grown to where it is now. But it wasn't something that. It just means that once you have a public platform, people can see and build on from there. So you've got your music, but you're creating all this music, whether it's your old stuff, you're doing the new stuff. By giving us an insight to what you're doing, it makes us remember and says, oh, okay, and it actually gets people to say, hey, we need to get in touch with this guy, because that's music sells more than anything else. I don't know if you, yeah. Did you meet Tammy Lucas?
I think so. Yeah.
Because she did all the background for Goodbye Love, and Right in the Wrong Way on Q-Sweat's album, and then all the.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I met her back in the day. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know her.
But after I had interviewed with her, we started talking. Now she started to release a lot of her demos that she did, and stuff. So it's almost like, because we knew she could write, we knew she did all this stuff, but she's now releasing her old demos on her YouTube channel. So it's how you, as for yourself as well, as a way of getting, keeping your name in our public eye, but starting off with revisiting some of the old classics that you guys did, then it helps us to bridge the two before you start bringing out new stuff. I think we're a generation now that we respect the classics, and if we hear, if you did your version of Let's Chill, it'd be interesting to see that. Oh, this could have been you and stuff, or things like that. Pardon?
A version of what?
Let's Chill by Guy. Let's Chill, or or Goodbye Love, or whatever. Something, because not many people. There's a generation I would know kids will work, but not many. But some will know that guy, and then they know the connection, and then but also just linking your voice and seeing your singing style, and seeing the difference between how you would have to handle the track compared to Aaron and stuff. But it's just, as I said,
I got teased so many years. So many years, my friends teased me and saying, "How the hell would Groove Me sound Groove Me sound if you were stayed in the group.
But have you?
I mean?
But why don't you? Yeah, but why didn't you try it and put it out there to see? Let us see what it would have sounded like. Because that's always the challenge. Why don't you try it?
That's interesting. I don't know. My favorite song by them is I Like. I love that song. Oof.
Yeah.
I love that song.
So I mean, yeah, and but it's stuff that it is for the fun of it, but it's not just for the fun of it. It is a way of just of saying, because you could have been the lead singer guys if things changed differently. So how would you interpret those songs?
Honestly,
it would be interesting. Yeah.
You want to hear something crazy, stupid that I did? One of the stupidest things I've ever done in my career. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, and I tell my students this now: the way to make it is by making the best choices. Teddy and Aaron got into a fight one time. You know what I mean? They got into an argument one time, and Gene kicked Aaron out the group. I was right there. Teddy looked at me and said, "I'm going to talk to Gene and see if you can be back in the group." And I said, "No." Yep. I said no. I want to stay solo. You know what I mean? If I would have said yes, it would. Reason why I think about this a lot, because if I would have said yes, there wouldn't have been no R. Kelly, no Jodeci, no. What's that group? There's a meeting in my bedroom. There's a meeting.
Is it Drew Hill?
Huh?
Drew Hill?
Not Drew Hill. There's a meeting in my bedroom. What the hell's the name of that song? I can't think of the name of the group, but all of those groups that sounded like Aaron back in the day.
Okay.
None of them probably would have made it. I mean, I can't say they would have made it, but they probably would have been singing differently. Because Aaron changed the game. Aaron's a bad boy. Aaron changed the game.
And the reason why what didn't surprise me, because I know when I interviewed Mucho from Basic Black, because
I remember him.
Yeah, so they were part of Basic Black, and their lead singer Dizzo, Daryl Adam Dizzo, who sang "Nothing But a Party." It's nothing. Yeah. They kept him because they said that he was scheduled to replace Aaron because Gene was put him on a leash and said you've sort of almost confirmed that actually there was that sense where Aaron could have been replaced, and if you didn't, if you said no, then they were looking at Dizzo as a backup option. So it
that probably was after they were signed.
Yeah. So this was
what I'm talking about is right before they got signed.
Yeah. So, but what I'm also mentioning is the fact that it looked like it was probably ongoing from the photo, because if that was something that they considered then, and it's probably something they considered later on and stuff. But choices are choices, and because Timmy can look back, I mean, he was hurt. He talked about being hurt by the whole thing, but his life, he had a very different life outside of the spotlight compared to what he might have had if he was in the front. But who knows how it would have handled. But we can never revisit time. We can reflect on it to help others to reflect on it, and to hopefully help others make perfect decisions, better decisions.
I like to acknowledge his wife, Timmy's wife, because Timmy's wife stayed with him through all of that. You know what I mean? Because usually when people don't make it, don't reach their goals, you know what I mean, they become very hard to live with. You know what I mean? I know he had gone through that. You know what I mean? Fortunately for him, he did have a lot of success too, though. You know what I mean? He's doing well now.
Yeah. But anyway,
she stayed with him through all of that.
Yeah, he mentions,
all my girls left me. I don't even know who they are anymore. I only been with my girl 10 years. You know what I mean? The one I got now, just 10 years. You know what I mean? Everybody else, they was
Well, Clurel, it's been great, but it would be good, as I mentioned, consider thinking about those, those giving us, letting us realize that you still got the vocals, especially when you interpret those songs or any of the songs. It would be good just to really reconnect with you from those days, from the Kids at Work tracks. You could do all of the songs online and even the some of the guys' stuff, and it would be interesting to see. Wow, so this is what Groove Me would have sounded like if you was there and stuff. And that's
I might actually do something like that. That's actually a good idea. I might have to take you up on that one.
Yes, yeah. So
listen. Let me just tell people if you want to get in touch with me, please contact me at NYC Vocal Charm School on my Instagram. My email is clurel@yahoo.com. And, you can get in touch with me there. And, anybody who needs to hit me up. I also have a YouTube channel that's doing very well. It's called Vocal Charm School. Vocal Charm School. Hit me up for great advice on, how to get your vocals together, how to be as bad as your boy.
Yeah.
I got you.
Well, yeah, and yeah. So, I mean, if you forward me the details too, so when this goes out, it would be in the description, so people can just, click onto it as well. So, yeah, once it goes out.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
Very nice to meet you, man.
Yes.
I watch your stuff all the time, man.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Your stuff. Hopefully I can get El Jabaj back.
I'm subscribed to you too.
Oh, yeah.
For a long time. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, as I said, it's been a charm. As I said, we love the stories, but I think part of at the end of the day, it's always to give people inspiration, because you've gone through stuff, and it's important that as people watch this, they can think, wow, what I've gone through is tough, but compared to what Clurel's went through, and look where he's at, he's still smiling, still singing, and he's still moving forward. And it's about inspiring the next person who might need that to hear.
Everybody going through pain in your careers, whatever your careers might be, just keep doing what you do. Keep doing what you do until you drop dead. Keep doing it, and you'll get through it. Trust me. Keep doing it. Take care of yourself, too. Take care of yourself. Don't get all fat.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Bobby Brown will hear from this as well and say, yeah, let me get Clurel in my life so he can help me get back into my, with my.
Tell your boy L to hit me up. I got some heat for him.
Okay. Will do. Well, Clurel, it's been great. Yeah, if I hear from you that Teddy says no problem, then that would be an amazing thing, because he's the.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely hit him up. The only setback is I know he's getting ready to go on tour with New Edition. So, but who knows? Maybe he'll have time, or maybe he'll do it after the New Edition tour. But I'm gonna hit him up. I tried to get them backstage passes. I couldn't get the backstage passes because it's not his tour. It's New Edition's tour, and I'm not in touch with them anymore. So, but damn, Teddy just he'll hit me with the backstage passes like quickness. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it is what it is. I'll have to pay to go and be in the audience like a fan and shit.
Yeah. But as I said, but who knows? How doors may open and stuff. So for yourself going forward, so you've got your own plans to continue moving forward and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm about to get that money.
Yeah. All right, it's been great.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Thanks again.
Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between
us for even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple pieces.
trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No. Okay, you're okay.
They don't understand what Jonas Boys and men and all spirits. Lay it.
I mean, I love all different genres.